Welcome to Damn Good Movie Memories with your host, Brian Davis. This podcast is the cure for your long commute and super boring workday. Hey there, it's Brian Davis, and for this week's episode, well, we don't really feel good, so we need some movies to make us feel better. That's right, we're going to talk about the movies we used to watch as a kid when we were sick, or movies now we used to watch, or that we do watch when we're sick. So my list is more geared to when I was a kid, because now I don't watch a particular movie when I'm sick. I pretty much watch whatever's in my queue, or if I just bought a bunch of new DVDs, I just kind of watch them in order of how I bought them, but I don't really have a go-to anymore. Now, when I was a kid, it was, as I've talked about in the past, whatever my, parents' VHS collection was, from dub tapes, that's what I would watch. And so those are my memories, and that's what I'm going to cover now. So in no particular order, I would say my number one would be Ferris Bueller's Day Off from 1986. I mean, it makes sense because Ferris is basically skipping school. He gets his friend Cameron and his girlfriend, and they kind of just go on this crazy madcap trip all over Chicago. I mean, they do way more you could possibly ever do in one day, but it's amazing. When you're sick, you want to watch something where you don't really have to stress out about. You just want to have fun. You know what's coming. And for me, most of these movies are comedies, so that would make sense. So Ferris Bueller definitely has to be on my list. Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein from 1948. I love Abbott and Costello, and this was my gateway drug into the Universal monster movies as well. And so it was fun and still kind of scary at the same time. Seeing Lon Chaney Jr. turn into the Wolfman, and of course Bela Lugosi returns to play Dracula, which actually he only played Dracula once, and that's in the original Dracula. So that's what was kind of cool about this film, is you get to see him return as Dracula. Mr. Mom from 1983 with Michael Keaton and Terry Garr. I love this movie. It was always a lot of fun. Frankly, it was almost like he was sick at home because he had a role reversal because he lost his job. His wife had to go back to work. And it was all the craziness of him trying to be a stay-at-home dad. And so being at home, this was kind of, when you're sick, you want to watch a funny thing. And this is what it was.
Dad, you passed it.
Passed what? We're right on time.
But Dad, you're doing it wrong. Mommy doesn't do it like this.
We're going to do it the Jack Butler method. What is this? This is nuts. Why are they all honking?
Because you're doing it wrong.
Tell me I'm doing it wrong. I know how to do this.
Hi, Jack. I'm Annette.
Hi.
You're doing it wrong.
See?
See, this is what I tell all my new mommies. We enter from the south and we exit from the north. And then we do just the reverse when we pick up. Swear, little ones don't have to walk between the cars to get to the learning facility. Okay, moving out. And remember, south to drop off, north to pick
Pick
up.
them up. Okay, it's a good system.
South to drop off, moron!
Hey, Kenny, where are the eggs?
Oh, there, Dad.
I have the right of way.
Right. Sorry. Here. Settle out of court.
Oh, weirdo.
Clean up on aisle 4.
Aisle 4, check.
Clean up in produce!
I'm sorry.
Got it.
I'm sorry. I Kenny, did I tell you not to touch the grapefruit?
Next,
May I have a half a pound of ham?
boiled, baked, smoked, salt-cured, sugar-cured, prosciutto, or Westphalian.
All right, forget it. Just tell you what. Just give me a half pound of salami.
Italian, kosher, hard pork, beef, cotto, or what?
Just get bologna, mister.
I'll tell you what. Just give me a quarter pound of cheese.
American, blue, cream, cottage, Gouda, Edam, provolone, Romano, Swiss. You have your entire cheddar family.
Can you run the hams back one more time? I just want to.
Half pound of salami, half pound of Swiss, half pound of Virginia ham,
to celery. Oh, I think these are on special.
Doesn't matter. Sorry, really.
Let me check. Are these Kotex Maxi Pads on special?
Never mind, Irv. Sorry, forget it.
Kotex, 19 cents off.
Thanks. It's all right, Ken. My baby.
Who are you?
Steven.
Kenny! Ken!
Mom!
Here, eat the spaghetti.
Spaghetti on aisle 9!
Spaghetti!
Spaghetti aisle 9 check.
Kenny!
Hey, I'll trade you my kid for yours.
Thank you.
I don't have any kids. Double back that, please.
Do you see my little girl?
Yeah, she's adorable.
She's lost.
You left a child in the shopping cart? Irv, one lost child.
Lost child alert.
There's your daddy. She's yours, and I'm Joan.
Hi, thanks.
Carolyn told me you'd be around.
Yeah.
Can I give you a hand?
You give me both of them. I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
Irv, clean up on aisle 7!
Irv, we were never in aisle 7. I'm telling you.
Kind of the Muppet trilogy from the late 70s to Muppets Take Manhattan. So we had the original Muppet movie. I'm pretty sure we had The Great Muppet Caper, and then of course we had Muppets Take Manhattan. Not of course, I don't know why we had it. It must have been on HBO, so they included it. I think it was on the same videotape as my next movie that I'll pick. But first about the Muppets. The Muppets were great. I mean, look, they were geared towards kids, but really they were geared towards adults as well. Because if you see all the guest stars in many of these movies, they're all adult-based, so which was always pretty cool. And on that same tape, I believe was The Natural from 1984. Of course, this is Robert Redford's baseball movie who plays an aging ball player who finally gets a shot to play in the major leagues. And yeah, this is probably the only drama I have. But yeah, I mean, it's just a terrific baseball movie. And I can watch baseball, like highlights or whatever, even in the off season. So this is why it was always a go-to movie for me. The Blues Brothers from 1980. I mean, there's another one where I've talked about. This is my favorite musical. This is just, it's a long movie, which is perfect when you're sick because you just leave it on. You can zone out. You can just watch all the great musical numbers, and it's a fun movie. And so I always loved watching it when I was sick. The Goonies from 1985. Same thing, much like Ferris Bueller. It's an adventure movie. It's funny. You know, the kids were around my age at the time. So yeah, you gotta love The Goonies. Back to the Future. We talked about Back to the Future on our favorite movies of all time list. Michael Chu picked that. But yeah, I mean, come on. If you're a kid in the mid-1980s, you were going to watch Back to the Future, and I watched it repeatedly, whether I was sick or not. The original Karate Kid from 1984, absolutely loved it. I would watch that all the time, which kind of led to my next few picks, which was any movie. The first 4 Rocky movies I would have pretty much on an endless loop, and yeah, it's inspiring, especially when you're sick. You want to see something that you know what you're going to get, and it's a lot of fun, and I love Rocky. And then last is a movie, and I believe it's from 1963, and it's the first Cary Grant movie I ever saw, and that is Charade, and it's because my mom bought it on videotape where they would have kind of these public domain videotapes where the movie company no longer had rights to it, so they could release it on kind of like budget videotapes you could get at Walgreens, and she bought Charade. So I remember watching Charade a lot as a kid. Now this, there's some like murder going on and everything, but it's still harmless by today's standards, so I would watch that a lot as a kid. So yeah, as you could tell, I loved watching movies. I watched probably movies more than TV when I was sick as a kid. Now it's probably a little bit different because there's so many TV shows on now. But back then, we had just like a great library of movies, and that's why I still collect movies to this day. If you want to stream, great. I enjoy having tangible items. So anyway, that was a lot of fun. That's my, well, actually, it's a relatively big list, so we're going to hear what everyone else has in this week's episode. All right, we are back, and we have the dynamic duo back. It's Enrica and Akira. Welcome back.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
So you heard him on the 100th episode. Well, now you're going to hear him on probably 101, depending if I can get enough interviews. Or maybe it'll be 102. I don't know. But it'll be after 100. And this was a fun one. I think it was after interviewing Malin, we kind of figured out that this would be a good topic. What movies do you watch when you are sick? What are your go-to movies? And so Enrica had one immediately. Akira's still thinking, so this will work out well. And Yeah, so we'll start with Enrica. What is your favorite movie or movies to watch when you are sick?
What's funny about like being sick is you just kind of watch what's available to you. So like when I was sick in high school, we only had like our VHS collection.
Right.
So I would rewatch the same VHSs over again. And those were When Harry Met Sally, which is
nice.
one of my favorite sick movies of all time. I just love it. It's so comedic and you can just like kind of zone out and like feel good and watch just silly people do silly things. And the other one was that I would watch over and over again at home was Runaway Bride. And then the third one was Kate and Leopold. So I really like the Meg Ryan / Julia Roberts sequences. Like their work between 1998 and 2005 is probably like my go-to sick movie. And then recently it's all about Netflix. It's like whatever's on Netflix at the time or whatever is on HBO at the time. And Netflix had for a long time, it had the movie Easy A.
Oh yeah, I love that movie.
It's so good, right? And when I was going through like a lot with Crohn's disease and I was home from work a lot, I watched that movie every single time. It was just like time to put on Easy A again, and it was just so great. I just loved it. It was like my intro to feminist song movie.
Well, it's good because we were doing a high school episode. And Mean Girls came up a lot for everyone's favorite high school movie.
Yeah.
But to me, the natural sequel, even though it's not really a sequel, is Easy A. Because there's so many, interesting parts about it. And Emma Stone is so good in it.
Love Emma Stone. That was my intro to Emma Stone, like my intro to, I guess Mean Girls was like my intro to feminism. But I feel like Tina Fey is a little too heady even for when you're sick. Like her pace is so fast. Like, we were watching Kimmy Schmidt last night, and there's so many times you're watching, you have to pause just so you can laugh at a joke that you like missed like 2 minutes before, because it's just her writing is so fast paced and so like SNL, and with Mean Girls, I feel like I can't really focus on it.
That's an interesting part about TV, and you. With fast-paced jokes, it doesn't always work on TV because when you're watching TV, a lot of times you're doing other things. If you're washing dishes, cooking dinner. But when you're in a movie, you have to pay attention, at least in the theater. And so that's why certain. Have you ever seen Naked Gun, the comedy? Okay, with Leslie Nielsen. It's like one of those spoof airplane type movies.
I do love Leslie Nielsen.
So it started as a TV show and it bombed because there were way too many gags. But when they did it 6 years later as a movie, it worked because people paid attention. So it's interesting. Maybe people can pause now, live TV where they couldn't back then. But that's an interesting point with Tina Fey.
Yeah, I think she just with Mean Girls, like it's an expert movie. Like it's so good.
Yeah.
And I could probably watch it when I'm sick because I've seen it so many times. But if I had only seen it once or twice, I don't think I could watch it again. Oh, my other go-to sick movie is the Keira Knightley version of Pride and Prejudice.
Ah, yes.
Do you watch when I'm sick? When I'm sick, because I have seen it so many times.
Right.
And it's just so the like Jane Austen dialogue is so delightful to just like snooze to.
I've definitely come home from work when Enrica's sick. It's like Pride and Prejudice as well.
I've probably seen it like 50 times.
See, I thought for sure you would pick another P movie, which you've talked about before.
P movie. I don't know. You're going to have to tell me.
Princess Bride.
Oh, yeah. The Princess Bride I associate with like family and togetherness because it's my like family's favorite movie. So we would watch it maybe like, I don't know, once or twice a year. Just like everybody would go upstairs after dinner and watch The Princess Bride.
Yeah.
I don't associate it as much with being sick. More like with the family, just kind of wanting to hang out and watch it. But Pride and Prejudice, I don't know why that's not the first one I thought of, because you could back me up on it. You've probably seen me watch that like 4 or 5 times just in the past few years.
Well, it's funny because I'm pretty sure Samantha picked that as her all-time favorite movie for the 100th episode. So there you go.
Oh, yeah. I mean, honestly, I'm surprised I didn't even think of that one because that is probably my third behind Babel and Free Willy.
Yeah, there you go. It's a nice little arc there. Yeah.
It's just such a good adaptation. It's
Yeah.
so good. It's so great. And it actually portrays the, the Bennett family, like, as they're supposed to be, as they were written. It's the most historically accurate version of them. Because so many Jane Austen, like, books get adapted, and everybody is, like, this high class, like, high society kind of people. And in Jane Austen, like, the Bennets were poor.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they were down on their luck because they had so many girls, so the family wasn't getting any money from marrying them off. So they were just, like, real poor. And Lizzie was one of the only ones who kind of, like, explored her independence, and that was a cool movie.
Right. Yeah.
Loved it.
Okay, I think we've given Akira enough time. What are your go-to sick movies?
So I think I don't often watch movies while sick, but I think if I were to think of what I would want to watch, it kind of has to go back to, like, childhood. Like, you know the movie very well.
Right.
And you can kind of watch it, kind of not watch it.
Yeah.
And so the two that I'm just going to are both Jeff Goldblum movies. Jurassic Park and Independence Day are just, I think, great movies to watch while you're sick.
Oh my god!
Like, there's a little action. You don't really need to follow the plot because you can really explain the plot to yourself in about 2 sentences. And it's just really, some good gags, some good special effects. And then I would say, on a side note, if I was very, very sick, I could get myself to find it, I would want to watch Primer, which is kind of a cult classic time travel movie that is, I think, probably impossible to actually understand. There's, like, entire internet forums devoted to, like, well, if this was them at that time point, then how did they go back to the other time point? And so I think if I was, like, 104-degree fever or something ridiculous, maybe I would understand it a little bit better.
It's like, you're delusional. It doesn't. Yeah, this would be perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
That's such a good one. I didn't even think of that one.
But for just not feeling well, head hurts. Any Jeff Goldblum movie from that era.
He'll really bring light to your life. Gotta love Jeff Goldblum.
Those are great picks. So I have a question. So if you, let's say you were sick, have you watched a movie because you were sick and you didn't like the movie because you were already sick? Or have you watched a movie that you ended up liking because you were already sick because you just had to sit there and get through it, which you wouldn't normally watch?
Enrique?
I don't know. I feel like there have been romantic comedies that I've rented while sick that I knew were bad because of, like, there's so many bad throwaway romantic comedies, but, like, because I was sick, they were, like, 50 times worse. Like, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
Oh, yeah.
That's a pretty bad movie.
It was so bad. And that's the kind of movie that if I were just, like, had it on in the background and I was doing laundry or something, I'd be like, haha, oh, that's cute, and then not think anything of it. But because I was sick and I was just, like, in a bad mood, I saw that movie and I was like, this is everything that's wrong with the world. I was, like, so mad at it. I don't know. It was just so terrible.
So that one's, I know McConaughey's in it. Is that the one with Sarah Jessica Parker?
No, that's Kate Hudson.
Okay.
Which is, like, essentially the same that also has Matthew McConaughey, that has Sarah Jessica Parker.
Yeah.
And it's like the matchmaker or something. I don't know. She pretends to be in a relationship with people so that to get them out of their parents' house.
Yes.
I saw that on TV recently. It was on TV, but that one I couldn't even make it through.
Yeah. That totally proves your point that they're just interchangeable. All those
yeah, exactly. Those are, like, the same movie, truly.
Yeah.
And I feel bad because Matthew McConaughey, like, he's this great actor or whatever.
He needed a paycheck.
People think he's a good actor.
He needed the paycheck on that one.
Yeah, exactly. Failure to Launch.
Yes.
God, it's so bad. Ugh. Yeah, but I used to watch, what's a Matthew McConaughey movie? The Wedding Planner.
Oh, yes.
Gold. I used to watch that all the time when I was sick. I love that movie because Jennifer Lopez can do no wrong. and I don't care what anybody says. She's perfect. And it was the first time I kind of saw like a thick girl being like a badass in a movie. I was like, yes, I have a butt. I can win a husband who's a doctor. And look at me now.
Okay, Kara, this is another nice transition to...
Sure, yeah.
My husband is going to be a doctor soon.
Maybe by episode 1, I don't know. I think the only movie I can think of recently that I watched while sick, I don't think my opinion would have been better about it, was that Will Smith movie Bright.
Oh, yeah.
Where Will Smith plays a cop who is partnered with an orc cop. And in this movie's world, like, orc is sort of a stand-in for, like, a perhaps race that is particularly, has more police brutality put upon them. And there's, like, this weird sort of race idea that's going on where, like, Will Smith is black, but this orc is like, oh, he's really the one who the police are hating, and it was not a great movie. And there's also a lot of magic in it, but like not great.
Because why not, you know?
It was an interesting movie, but I don't think I would have liked it were I sick or not.
Right. Okay. Good point. Yeah, they should have done Rotten Tomatoes. Like, if you're sick, like maybe the rating goes down or up depending if you're sick. I think we're onto something here.
Although not a movie, but an anime series I watched the entirety of, at least that I could find while I was sick, was Attack on Titan. And that I think I really liked, and I'm not sure if I would have had the time to sit down and just like binge through that
if you hadn't been sick.
Yeah.
See, being sick is a good thing sometimes. So, as always, thank you so much, guys. We're gonna have to go on many, many more times. I promise.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we're feeling sick this week. Perfect. I'm glad you. I'm gonna throw up noise or a chunk from Goonies. That'd be good. Yeah, I wish we. Yeah, actually, that'd be good. Yeah. So this came up from Malin, and he decided that, or he didn't decide, but he was mentioning like movies he'd watch when he was sick, and then we got the light bulb went off, and thought it'd be a good episode.
Yeah,
so.
That's great. I mean, yeah, I totally watch movies when I'm sick.
Exactly. I think
as long as I'm not sleeping, I gotta watch something.
So movies or TV, and maybe TV more now, but when I was a kid,
there's The Price is Right, and maybe I Love Lucy and stuff like that.
Totally. Back in the day, that was all. Leave It to Beaver.
Syndicated old like 50s and 60s.
Exactly. I can't believe Price is Right is still on.
Yeah.
All right, let's just jump right into it. What were your go-to movies when you were sick, and maybe now if you do watch movies when you're not feeling good?
So I would say that I don't know. I mean, I didn't have a lot of videos to watch when I was a kid and I was sick, so I was probably just watching TV. But more when I was older and like had DVDs and stuff like that, and like called in sick from work and was actually sick. I got to watch something. So I have a couple of kind of honorable mentions where I probably watched them once or twice when I was sick. And like, this is a good movie to watch when sick.
Yeah.
So one of those is A Hard Day's Night.
Beatles
movie. It's just like a really lighthearted, goofy movie. There's not much plot to it. And you get the Beatles music, and I'm a big Beatles fan. So it's fun. I really enjoy that movie.
They're actually perfect for that type of role. They're actually pretty good. Well, obviously they're great performers, but they're not bad actors.
They're pretty good deadpan comedians. Yeah. I think John and especially John and Ringo was pretty funny.
Yeah.
George. Yeah, they actually are all really good. They came up with like a guy who was supposed to be Paul's grandfather.
Exactly.
Like kind of their foil. And then they were the foil for their manager. And so it was just kind of like this, silly madcap movie.
Yeah. By far,
if you like the Beatles music, definitely check that out.
Oh, yeah. And by far their best movie because,
Help was not.
Yeah. And then
tried too hard to be something.
And Let It Be isn't a movie. It's more like a documentary.
Yeah, actually, I don't know if I've seen that. Did they release it finally? I don't know. It was like
I'm sure you could find it somewhere.
Archival footage.
Yeah.
I've seen parts of it because they did the whole Beatles anthology.
Right.
They had scenes from that. Yeah.
And then Yellow Submarine is basically a cartoon.
Oh yeah, and it's not even their voices on the speaking parts. It's just Yellow Submarine I like a lot, but it's not. Yeah, it's not the same type of movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Obviously animated, but
that's great. Now that makes me want to go watch it now. But I don't want to be sick. But
yeah. These are great movies to watch anytime. But when you're sick, for me, I want something lighthearted and kind of like I don't have to think too much about it.
Yeah.
I'm just like I'm made to laugh, or I can just get into it somehow and forget the fact that like I'm otherwise
feel miserable.
really miserable. Yeah,
That's a good point. You can just zone out.
Yeah,
yeah, that's a good call.
All right, the other one is Three Amigos. This is another honorable mention.
Yes.
This is just one of my favorite comedy movies. Period.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, at the time, I remember like the movie was really panned by critics, and I saw it when it got to a bargain theater, so I saw it for like a
Me
buck.
too.
And I loved it. And I always wanted to. I mean, my whole family likes it. It was just, I don't know, we would quote it a lot, and
I want to say I saw this as a double feature with Top Gun, but I could be wrong.
See, I saw this double feature with what was it? It was either Short Circuit or Beetlejuice. I can't remember.
Nice.
Yeah,
nice.
It was. So yeah, I don't remember. It probably depends on what year one of those two movies came out. I think
it came out in '86, right? I think.
Yeah, I should know that. Yeah, it's probably 85, 86.
Okay,
like
yeah.
So it's around the time.
I miss double feature, because they don't do that anymore.
They don't know. No, they want your money.
Exactly. The only place they do it, there is a local drive-in here in San Jose.
Oh yeah, the drive-ins will do it. Yeah,
exactly.
I still live in San Luis Obispo, and I think they still do it. The drive-in there.
Oh, nice.
Double feature, and it's like $8
Can't
or something
beat it.
for the car.
You can't beat
awesome.
it. I mean, you're not getting the best video and audio quality, but just for a family.
But the technology in drive-ins is improved now, where you just play it on your car radio instead of having that ugly speaker that didn't half worked and it was crackly. And
there was a certain charm to it.
Yeah.
But now you're getting all the dead batteries.
Right. Your car battery might die.
Exactly. Bring your own radio.
Right. You bring your own transistor.
I'm surprised they don't have an app where you could just download it on your phone. Like you just stream it.
Maybe they do.
Yeah, that wouldn't be a bad idea.
So there's just not enough drive-ins to maybe make an app.
Exactly. I know.
Anyway, so I like Three Amigos because it's super silly.
It is.
It's just ridiculous.
It's a farce, yeah.
And it's funny because it's sort of a fish out of water comedy, except it's ironic because they're not supposed to be fish out of water. Like the whole reason they're involved in this plot line is because they're supposed to be these cowboys,
right?
They're Hollywood cowboys, and they're completely inept at being real cowboys. And I don't know, it's great.
I can actually see this one being remade. The problem is you're not going to find those comedians.
Where's the comedic talent that you can get for that? Yeah, and it's hard to imagine that.
Unless they they flip it and it's three females, because that's the new trend.
Do that. Yeah. I think they'd have to come up with a different time period and different story.
I agree.
It would be applicable.
Yeah.
And it would have to be, because I don't know, like the Western genre. I don't know that you would
resonate. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I mean, you could have three female actors, but I don't think it would be as it wouldn't be as maybe true.
Sure, sure. But then it's such a farce anyway.
It would totally. I could probably, I could see Melissa McCarthy being in one of those roles.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Great. Yeah,
or Kristen Wiig or something. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe it'll be remade, but I'm glad if they don't.
They just leave it as it is.
It's as good as it is.
Yeah.
All right. So then we'll get into the three mainstays for me when I'm sick.
Okay.
Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
That's my
which
pick.
Seems like a natural.
Yeah.
Because it's perfectly fitting. Ferris is sick or pretending to be sick. He's got this whole elaborate scheme to fake that he's sick and get his other friends out of school.
And Cameron really is sick.
Cameron really is sick, or maybe he's not. He's just depressed.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's actually Ferris says that, right?
He does.
He's been sick for, I don't know.
You're not dying, you just can't think of anything good to do. He'll keep calling me. He'll keep calling me until I come over. He'll make me feel guilty. This is ridiculous, okay? I'll go. Shit. God damn it! Forget it. That's it.
Yeah. So Cameron has his own ailment, but it's not necessarily physical.
Yeah, there's so much going on in that movie.
It's so good. I mean, you've talked about it in other episodes, so I don't need to go into it too much.
But you're right. It is like chicken soup.
Yeah, and it's sort of like, this is what I wish I were doing if I were sick, or even pretending to be sick. I've never done any, like even if I played hooky, I've never done anything that good.
That elaborate, yeah. Yeah, it's a perfect skip.
Nothing elaborate, nothing like I basically had to pull off a heist to get myself out of school.
He had a personal computer back then, which is a great line.
Right,
It's like, I wanted a car, I got a computer.
So that's great because now everyone's like, it would be what I wanted a phone, I got a computer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. or I wanted a computer and I got this stupid crappy car, What am I going to do with the car?
Yeah.
I want to be on my phone all the time.
Uber,
exactly. Good point.
Yeah. All right. So my next one is Star Wars. Talked about this previously.
100th episode. That's right.
It's my favorite movie of all time.
Yeah.
So of course it's good to.
It's got to be
totally rewatchable. So has a great ending.
Yep.
Uplifting. I have in the past, if I've been sick for multiple days, I've watched the whole trilogy through.
That's fun to do.
Yeah, so that's good. And maybe not back to back, but over a couple of days,
Yeah.
I watched them all. So that's fun. And sometimes if I'm sick in winter, I'll watch Empire Strikes Back because they have the whole Hoth scene with where it's cold. And all right, I'm going to be cold and miserable. And watch Luke be cold and miserable. I don't know.
I think that's a good call because a lot of times it's a good time to watch trilogies or at least series.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Whether it be the superhero stuff.
Yeah, so maybe if I were younger, maybe it would be Harry Potter or
Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings, which I love those movies, both series, but I don't.
Yeah, where were they when we were kids? That would have been nice.
Yeah, Lord of the Rings is really long though.
Oh yeah.
If you watched all 8 Harry Potters, it would take you. You'd have to be sick for 3 days.
You would need definitely a doctor's note on that one.
Right. And then my last one, and this is probably my ultimate sick movie, is Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Ah, okay. So, yeah.
And I don't know if it's even my favorite comedy because maybe Ferris Bueller is higher, but I don't know. For some reason, I watched this when I was sick one time. I think it was on TV when I was younger in high school. I was on TV. I was sick and I watched it. And it was just great. It's completely ridiculous. I love Monty Python's humor. I think the jokes hold up even now because it's a medieval story, so it's natural. It just completely makes fun of all the Arthurian myth and legends, and I don't know, it's great. And actually, I was reading some trivia about it today, and it turns out it might not have gotten made if not for Led Zeppelin and Genesis and some other bands.
Oh, really?
Basically donating money to get the thing made because they were advised by the record label who produced Monty Python's records. Said they were trying to help them get this movie made, and so they went around basically passed the hat and got some people to invest $20,000, 10 bands to invest $20,000 each to get the thing started.
It's like the early version of crowdfunding.
Yeah. So it was top band funding. Yeah, it's kind of nuts.
That's pretty badass. That's
so
awesome.
And they kind of, I think some of them kind of looked at it as it was just a tax write-off. So it was the best tax write-off ever.
Yeah, and it panned out.
It's a pretty classic comedy movie. It's considered usually one of the.
So what came first? I'm admittedly not a huge fan. So did the show come first?
Show came first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then the albums.
I think the albums were based on the show.
Got it.
Episode, the sketches they translated them to the albums, and they did live performances.
It was like the original Saturday Night Live type of thing.
Yeah. So we're like any other comedy albums.
Yeah.
So they would put that on the record, and then the movies got made because I think the show was in the 60s, and then Holy Grail was 75. I don't know. I'm mistaken on the date.
Yeah,
totally,
but around that era
in the 70s. So it was after the movie, and then I think Holy Grail was the first movie that they made because that was the first. There was something in the article about Terry Jones and Terry Gilliam. That was their first time directing anything. So they're completely, it's just an experiment for them.
Right.
So I think they pulled it off pretty well considering.
Well, then sometimes that's the best. You go in with all that exuberance and not knowing what you're doing.
And I think they just it was a lot of experimental work, and they just collaborated a lot with the cast as they always do. They all played multiple roles. And
so you prefer that one over the other?
I like Life of Brian a lot.
You have to.
Yeah. I have to. It's just not as, I don't know, I just don't laugh as much at that. And then Meaning of Life has a couple of good scenes. But
I don't think I even introduced you today. But I think
hello, I'm Brian.
Yeah, the other brother Brian. Which is reminding me. But I think if you listen if you're a regular, you know it's Brian. So yeah.
Come on. If I said Star Wars, you got to know it's
exactly. That's a good point. But yeah.
You might remember me from such soundtrack episodes as Top Gun and Footloose.
I'm Troy McClure.
Yeah. So I don't know, Monty Python.
That's a great one.
All-time classic comedies, and it's just the perfect chicken
go-to
soup
for
my
comfort food of movies.
Yeah, movie-wise. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so this is a bonus question. What do you like to eat when you're sick?
I used to like to drink Hawaiian Punch a lot.
That's a good one. Yeah. Mine was Gatorade. It's always Gatorade, but yeah.
Yeah, now it's probably more Gatorade. I just want something sweet.
Yeah, but also kind of salty.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, you gotta get those electrolytes.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, if I have the flu,
idiocracy.
Yeah, I mean, I used to drink. My mom used to give me watered down juice as a kid. Like, I don't want you drinking too much sugar, so you're gonna have watered down apple juice. Or she would put like a ton, like fill the entire glass with ice and then pour a little bit of apple juice or something in, or orange juice in there.
It's like a chaser, yeah.
Yeah. It's like, okay, thanks, Mom. All right. When I got older, I was like, Hawaiian Punch has vitamin C. I'm gonna buy some of that.
Oh yeah,
like the 2 liter.
It's a little bit. Yeah. Anyway, as always, thank you so much, Brian.
Thanks.
All right, we're back with Samantha. Welcome back.
Hello.
So I just discovered something brilliant about you, which was you never got sick as a kid, it sounds like.
Well, I was, but my mom was crazy about me getting a perfect attendance award.
Ah, okay.
So I wasn't allowed to miss school.
So even if you had a cold, you would still go?
I would go in for a couple hours and then I'd go home.
Look at that.
So I probably got everyone else sick, but
but you kept your attendance
through all
going.
of elementary school, I got almost perfect attendance. I mean, I did get sick once in a while, but I think I've always had a really good immune system.
High quality immune system.
Even in like high school. Well, I did skip a little more time.
But you weren't sick, right?
And then and like I was even thinking when you brought up this topic, like even recently I got a cold like a few months ago, and it was the first time I'd had a legit like cold flu in like 2 years.
Oh wow, yeah.
So I don't know. I'm not.
Okay, so what are your health secrets? So we're doing on a transition here, but do you drink a lot of water and tea, or is
I'm an obsessive germaphobe.
Well, there we go.
Don't touch things.
I'm glad you're on the podcast. Thank you. I'm glad you even want to be in the same room. So that's good.
But yeah, it's funny because I was never that kid who was like homesick and like I need like things to find things to do, but I think I still have I have a couple anecdotes for this. So
okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you ever go to? So are movie theaters okay? Because like.
Yeah.
They gotta be cake.
I don't love them.
Okay, yeah.
I don't love them. I haven't gone actually in a while. I prefer to watch movies at home unless it's something like I have to see in a theater.
Right.
Like I'll make it an effort to go if it's like I saw what was that Christopher Nolan movie? Dunkirk.
Yes. Yeah.
I had to see that one in theaters because I saw it in like the what was it like 60
IMAX,
millimeter like the special projection.
Okay.
But yeah, usually I stay home. Stay clean.
Nothing's worse than an airplane, though.
And I got sick when I was just on vacation.
Exactly. So that proves that,
and the last time I got a cold was the last time I went on an international flight, which was 2 years ago.
Awesome.
So
I can't wait. I'm going to be on a plane soon.
It's all connected.
Yeah.
But luckily, so this last time I was sick a few months ago, I think I did catch up on a few movies, and it did remind me that when I like have that time when I'm just at home and I like, okay, I'm just going to sit here and watch a few movies. I don't really have like a go-to film, but I like to stick with like a genre.
Okay, that's good.
So I find it's a good time to like catch up on classics that I either haven't seen or like I'll explore a certain like actor more. So I think, when I was younger, and when I had cable, I would watch like TCM.
Oh yeah.
Like that would be the go-to. Like if you're at home during the day, just put on Turner Classic Movies.
Or even at work.
See what
that's
was
what we do at work too. Seems like that's a go-to station for us.
True, but I like watching classics. I think like a good like musical from the 40s and 50s. That's a fun one because there's not much plot.
No.
There's no point. It's just I like Gene Kelly.
Yeah.
So if I could watch like An American in Paris, that's a good one.
Singing in the Rain. Yep. What about the Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers thing?
I have a problem. I don't have a problem, but I have a hard time with Fred Astaire movies because, well, I've seen a lot of them, but I can never differentiate them.
They do follow the same pattern.
I know I've seen quite a few, but there's like not one that I can say like, oh, that's just a standout.
Yeah, honestly, I barely remember. There's one movie I remember he's playing golf. And there's a golf scene, but for the most part, they're just singing and dancing.
Yeah, it's all very the same. They're all on a sound stage, and they're all predictable.
Mm-hmm. But they did really well. Like people loved it.
Well.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a good. Oh, what's it called? I might have brought it up here on this podcast before, but there was this thing made, I think in like the 80s or 90s, and is it called like Just Dance or? And it was like a compilation of all of like the 30s to 50s like musical movies. And like I know Gene Kelly hosted one of them, and I think Fred Astaire did, and they got like some other like old actors in it, and they just talked through like components of the movies.
Oh, nice.
So you don't you
get the highlights of everything.
Watch them.
Yeah, that's actually.
I've seen lots of highlights. Oh, what's it called?
Well, you'll learn in most of those films. It's like, you're not. It'd be good to have kind of a quick best of type thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Is it called No, I think that's just the name of a movie. Let's Dance. Oh, this is gonna bug me.
I thought they had something. It was like what were the Gold Diggers of the 1930s? Oh God, I know what you're talking about. Like there is something like that.
They wrote like a whole song
around the
for this special.
There's
a theme song. Like, you gotta dance.
You gotta dance.
Gotta dance. Oh, On the Town, that's another fun one.
Oh yeah, that is a great one.
Invitation.
That's Entertainment?
That's Entertainment!
Yes, I totally remember these,
Oh, they're great. I've seen all of them somehow. But, yeah, so anyway, I love a good, like, classic musical, classic movie if I am at home.
You know, I just discovered from episode 100, you know who's a big musical fan?
Who?
Michael Chu. Huge musical fan. So you guys need to sync up about that.
What's his favorite?
He loves them all. Like I think he loves Singing in the Rain and a lot of the obviously the classics. But that was fascinating. He says his wife hates him, but he loves it.
It's funny for me because it's not like I like the music really. Like that's not my genre.
Right.
But the whole like production I like because they don't make them anymore. And it's such a time capsule for like, you know, the stage and the costumes and the
choreography is amazing.
The choreography and it's not only are they actors but they're athletes as well.
Yes.
They can dance and no one really does that anymore and they can sing and it's just so talented.
Yeah, it was like back then you had to do all three things. You had to sing, dance, and act. And
you
now
had to look pretty.
Exactly. And you look good doing it and wear these crazy costumes. Yeah, it is. They're amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's the other genre that's your go-to?
So other than, let's see, classic musicals, movies, I think, it's mostly just going through things that I haven't seen or like, you know, it's one of those that, oh, that's such a famous movie, but I've never seen it. So a couple months ago when I was homesick, I decided I'm just going to go through Julia Roberts' like filmography because I was a kid when she like during the height of her career in like the early 90s and stuff. So I've only seen them like when I've like decided to.
Okay, this is going to be fun.
So,
have you seen Mystic Pizza?
Yes.
Okay, and what did you think?
I saw that years ago.
Okay.
I can't even remember. I think I watched it with my grandma.
All right.
So.
That's a grandma type movie. You've seen Pretty Woman, of course.
Yes.
Sleeping with the Enemy.
I haven't seen that one.
Ooh, that one's the stalker one. I'm trying to think of other Julia Roberts movies that are lesser known.
The one I watched when I was sick was My Best Friend's Wedding.
Oh, yeah.
And I had never seen it. I didn't even know Cameron Diaz was in it.
That's right.
And it was so dated.
Okay, Steel Magnolias, which is the ultimate tearjerker.
Yes.
Okay.
I always get that one confused with another movie, though.
Well, here's another one, Stepmom, with Susan Sarandon.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
That's an interesting one. I won't give it away. This one seems like up your alley, Notting Hill.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Oh, I've seen that a few times. I even rewatched it because I was in London a couple of months ago, and I stayed in Notting Hill.
Oh, nice.
So I wanted to see the sights.
Aaron Brockovich.
No.
True story.
I've never seen Aaron Brockovich.
You live in California.
I know.
I'm assuming you've seen Runaway Bride?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Which is basically almost the sequel to Pretty Woman in a different, yeah. Let's see, I'm trying to find other. Pelican Brief, the Grisham movie.
No.
She plays a law student.
I don't think so.
Really good.
No.
This one seems like right up your alley, Mona Lisa Smile.
I've actually never seen that.
Really?
Nope. See, Julia Roberts has always been like a gap in my movies. I don't know why.
Here's a great one, but it really isn't. Flatliners, which
No,
they
I
just
haven't
remade.
seen it. I know they just remade it,
Yeah,
though.
good cast, bad, yeah. The Mexican with Brad Pitt and James Gandolfini.
Mm-mm.
All right. Conspiracy Theory with Mel Gibson.
No.
Oh, see, this is fun.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Those are her top.
Those are big ones
So that was a funny little
to go through.
rabbit hole. Or whatever,
I want to watch Sleeping with the Enemy again now. And have you seen all the Ocean's movies?
No, I haven't seen all of them.
Okay. She's not in it that much, but
Yeah.
she's definitely involved. So what are the other actors that you haven't caught up with that you really want to?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know why I started watching her movies. I think it's probably because I rewatched Notting Hill and I was like, oh, let's see what else is out there.
She is kind of the feel-good actress in some ways, yeah.
Yeah, and I think she's always been so big, but I just haven't seen all her movies.
Yeah.
Who else have I looked into recently? Oh, now you're putting me on the spot. I can't
No.
remember.
Well, no, I'll help you out. So, there are classic actresses that I can watch any of them. I can always watch a Barbara Stanwyck movie for some reason. Joan Crawford, because she's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I can always watch. Myrna Loy. That's like a go-to. Betty Davis. Those are all kind of ones I can always watch.
For a while I was going through Betty Davis movies.
Cary Grant. If we're going to go to actor, I can watch any Cary Grant movie.
He's my favorite.
Yeah.
He is my all-time favorite classic actor.
And Bogart, who is not very likable, but I love him. I can watch any movie with Bogart in it too.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think also I was watching 80s and 90s movies for some reason too. Oh, what else was I watching at the
Have
same
you
time?
still haven't seen the Blues Brothers yet?
Nope.
Musical. It's not a classic musical.
No.
Do not see Blues Brothers 2000.
Okay.
I'm never having you on the podcast.
Going through her stuff and also I it's again when I'm sick I feel like I have time, or if I'm just not feeling well, it's I'm gonna put something on that maybe I feel like focusing on a little bit.
Yeah.
You can have the lighthearted fun stuff, but I think it's also a great time to watch a movie with subtitles.
Oh, that's true.
Or some sort of foreign movie. And this one doesn't actually have subtitles, but I watched Blow Up.
Oh yeah, yes, I have seen that.
Because I wanted to start watching the Italian directors. That's been on my bucket list for a while. Is let's finally dive into those. And of course, I watched his first. It's Antonioni.
Yes.
Antonioni. That's one of his films, and I think it was his first English language one, and it's not actually one of the Italian.
Yeah, of course. It's a good movie though. Yeah.
But and I think this brings a lot of things to mind.
Sure.
I was sick a few months ago, and then I knew I was going to London, so I decided let's watch all these British London-based movies. So that's when I watched Notting Hill, and then I watched Blow Up because it's based in London as well. It's I have to have a goal to accomplish. But yeah, that one was really good, and I actually didn't know it was kind of like a murder.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
So that was a surprise. I thought it was just a fashion photography thing.
It's funny because Brian picked two British movies. He picked A Hard Day's Night, which is the Beatles movie, and Monty Python.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's kind of interesting.
Python.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think I've already talked about for my 100th movie. I already talked about my comfort movie. Yeah. So there's always that. But
if you missed that one, quickly we'll.
Pride and Prejudice.
That's right.
So
you got to
2005.
Yeah,
real classic.
Check it out if you want a detailed explanation about it. And this is the bonus question: what do you like to eat or drink when you're sick?
Oh, What do I like to eat?
What's the comfort?
Comfort thing, yeah. I like a good noodles and broth.
Yes.
So, and some tea.
And some tea.
That's what I eat normally anyway.
Yes. And watch movies. So you're more apt to watch TV shows or movies when you're sick?
I think I watch more TV because I can just put it on in the background. Yeah. Like I'll put like a series or something. I don't know, something like The Office or Parks and Recreation that's kind of funny. And
it's also less of an investment because if you want to stop after one episode, you're done. Yeah.
And like do other stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think sick or the only other time when I've like sat and like just watched movies all day is when I've had surgeries.
Oh yeah.
So it's like then it's like, oh, you can't really move. You don't really want to do anything.
You're kind of spacey if you're on
it's
something.
It's like, let's just put on Turner Classic Movies, fall asleep, and then
I think
catch something.
Definitely check out Turner Classic Movies because it's probably one of the best. It is the best movie station. I think it's better than HBO and all that now.
Oh, it's so better. And they even have, I've talked to you before, they have an app now called Filmstruck. Yeah, so I actually just canceled my membership for a bit because I'm trying to like save that money.
Yes.
I think it's like $12 a month.
Yeah, it's not cheap.
But that's where I was able to watch things recently on there because I don't have cable at the moment. So, but yeah, that app's great because you can search by like director.
Oh, that's nice.
There's lots of great filters. So
yes, awesome. Fun. Well, as always, thank you so much, Samantha, and don't get sick, please.
Okay.
Follow the Samantha diet. All right, we're back with Malin. Welcome back.
Hey, Brian, thanks.
So actually, I have to give you full credit for this week's episode because it was, I think on our 100th episode, we were talking about this and about movies that, you watch when you're sick, whether it be when you're a kid or whether you watch them now. So I don't know. Do you have go-to movies currently or are most of your picks from when you were a kid? Because mine are all when I was a kid.
I think it's a little bit of both. The thing is, I used to be sick a lot as a kid, or maybe not sick a lot, but when I did get sick, I would get really sick. And so, yeah, I would, lay there on the couch or in bed or whatever, and I'd watch a movie and I'd kind of go in and out of consciousness and in and out of these films too.
Yeah.
So I definitely developed a few favorite movies to watch when I'm sick. And before doing my little bit of research, I put them in a list and tried to figure out like what the common threads between some of these might be, and I came up with a couple ideas, but I don't know if it's totally solid logic because really it's just films that I like to watch when I'm kind of in and out of it.
Right, and that makes total sense. Like mine are mostly comedies because I don't really watch. Personally, I didn't want to watch anything super depressing, or if I knew it was coming, it was okay.
Right. Yeah, it's funny. I was thinking, okay, does he want movies about sickness or movies about that we watch when we're sick? Because I was gonna, if I had to pick a movie that was my favorite about sickness, it would be Terms of Endearment, but I would never watch that when I was sick.
Oh man, yeah, that or there's your tearjerker or Steel Magnolias.
Gosh. Yeah, exactly.
But that's actually a good topic. I don't know if it'll be a pick me up, but no, there's another. See, we come up with all these great topics just from we don't even expect it.
Yeah.
Let's get right into it. Your list.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So I realized too that since I used to get really sick when I did get sick, one thing that I looked forward to when I was sick was getting to stay home and watching the Carol Burnett show.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was always like a highlight of being sick, was I'd get to stay home and I'd get to watch the Carol Burnett show, which I couldn't watch otherwise except during the summer breaks.
That's right.
And I think the Carol Burnett show and Carol Burnett are really single-handedly responsible for almost all of my school illnesses lasting at least one day longer than they actually should have,
See, this is before we could actually DVR anything. You could have just had it on a continuous loop. But back then, you had to watch on TV.
No, exactly. You had to put yourself in like harm's way and get like a cold or a flu or something.
That's right.
A lot of the stuff that I used to watch was VCR, VHS based.
Yeah, me too.
But the list I've got pretty much mixes some newer stuff, but mostly older stuff that I actually used to watch when I was in like elementary school, junior high, and high school.
Okay.
So I organized these by threads. I think one thing I used to like and still like to watch are family-friendly adventure films.
Ah, yes.
Which I didn't really think of that as like one of my favorite genres until I started putting this list together and looking for the patterns. And I was like, wait, this is really weird. I don't usually like go out of my way to watch family movies or adventure movies necessarily. But I guess when I'm sick, I get a bug for seeing fantasy and adventure. Kind of makes sense, I guess. You're stuck in bed. You want to see something a little bit more interesting than that.
Yeah, no, I think you'll probably have one of my picks on there, I would hope.
Well, the top of my list is Princess Bride.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Is that on your list?
It's not on my list, but it actually should be because it's actually.
Yeah, it should. Yeah, it should. Yeah, I think I've mentioned this to you like a couple times before. With Fred Savage being in his sick bed at the beginning of the film, and it's kind of this great romantic adventure and fantasy film, and it's hilarious and so much fun to watch. And I think I know it so well that I don't think I'd get nearly as much enjoyment out of watching it for any other reason. But when I'm sick, it's great because it's just I can kind of go in and out of it, and it's just the perfect kind of pick-me-up.
Yeah.
Then it ends with Fred Savage in his sick bed, I think, falling asleep.
Yes.
And it's kind of the perfect movie to fall asleep to as well.
Well, it's funny. I remember my dad, I think we rented it, and my dad saw the beginning, and he's like, what's the kid from the Wonder Years doing with Columbo? You know, that's how he saw it. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I saw that as well, it kind of that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Princess Bride, some other films that I think are kind of in a similar vein, Time Bandits.
Oh, yeah.
That's a fun one to watch when I'm sick because it goes through all of these different fantastic time periods and set pieces and these absolutely outrageous characters. And, you know, I can be totally awake at the beginning of it. I could fall asleep during the Titanic bit of it and then come back, wake up when they're on the boat out in the middle of the ocean on the Giant's Head, and like I haven't really missed anything because I know it so well. And it's a fantastic adventure to kind of not completely have your wits about you anyway. I think having a kind of a fever-pitched experience of it actually heightens the film.
Yeah, definitely. I need to go back and watch that. So next time I'm sick, I'm going to put that on my list.
Yeah. Although hopefully you won't have to wait until you're sick to watch it.
That's a good point.
Yeah. I think that one actually holds up better for me outside of being sick than The Princess Bride. But anyway, another one, The Goonies. That's a comfort film for sure.
Absolutely on my list, yes.
And I think that when I'm sick, or at least I'd like to think this now, I don't quite get as weirded out by Sean Astin's it's their time up there, it's our time down here speech, which which otherwise just kind of makes me embarrassed to be watching.
But as a kid, it didn't really it never really bothered us as kids, I don't think.
No, as a kid I thought it was this great inspirational speech, and now as an adult I think I was a stupid kid for thinking.
But then again, when you were a kid, we probably would have said something similar. I don't know.
Yeah, right? It was kind of totally would have, because I think when I first saw that film in the theater, I was that age almost exactly.
Right.
I'm thinking. So, yeah, it was totally realistic to me, the entire thing. Oh, and then a pair of adventure films that I think are great to go together. Dark Crystal and Labyrinth.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, because those have a kind of I guess all of these adventure films that I've added here, they don't have a super fast pace. They take their time.
Yes.
And there's certainly adventure and hijinks and whatever involved. But the Dark Crystal and Labyrinth, those are both fun worlds to kind of just get lost in for a couple of hours when you really want to get your mind off of your sneezing or your coughing or your headache or whatever. Yeah, I think all the films that I mentioned are just total comfort films for me.
I'm pretty sure Labyrinth was the first movie I saw David Bowie into. So.
Oh gosh, I wonder if that's the same for me.
It's right around that era. I mean, it's like 86, yeah. I want to say. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's an interesting one.
Yeah.
Probably. Because I knew, the reason I'm wondering is because I knew who he was.
Okay.
Before I saw Labyrinth, but I can't remember why I knew who he was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, anyway. That was definitely my introduction to him too. Like, I didn't even heard his music, I don't think, at that point, or at least didn't realize I had. So
yeah. I'll have to go back and look at his filmography and see if there's something that I might have seen him in either on TV or film before the Labyrinth.
Yeah.
Anyway, so a couple other things. I like watching classic films.
Yes.
More so when I'm sick than other times. I don't know why. I think I've just grown away from watching the classics regularly, which is really sad because every time I do pick a classic, it's so wonderful getting lost in the time period and the set, sometimes outrageous Hollywood set pieces, and the really melodramatic storytelling and acting.
Maybe it's the patience you have when you're sick. you let it happen, I guess.
Yeah, no, I totally think so. I think there is something about that, at least for me, about being sick and then having, knowing that I'm going to be able to take the time to watch something that has maybe a slower pace or has a development structure that's not as kind of jam it down your throat as more, almost every contemporary film, let's admit it. The classics are great for when I'm sick because it's like getting lost in a different world, and different time period. So my favorites to go back to are The Spiral Staircase.
Oh yeah,
Lizzie McGuire, and Ethel Barrymore.
Yeah,
and Elsa Lanchester. I don't know who the men in it were, but the women were fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, the women definitely are the centerpiece of that film.
Yeah, that's a brilliant movie to watch when you're sick because it's slow burn mystery on a dark and stormy night in a mysterious mansion out in the countryside. And it's just such a fantastically moody piece. And it's a bit claustrophobic because as the movie goes on, people start disappearing and the main heroine becomes more and more isolated in the movie. And I don't know, I think it's kind of a great claustrophobic film for being sick in. Or A Rainy Night.
Yeah.
That's a great movie for like rainy night viewing.
Definitely.
Yeah, I can't wait until we get into winter and get a really nice stormy night where I don't want to go out and just kind of stay home and watch something like The Spiral Staircase.
Well, there we go. That could be our next topic, your rainy night movies.
Rainy night movies, yeah. It's like, bad weather movies.
Yep.
What to do for the night in. Couple more classics, Mildred Pierce and Gaslight.
Oh, yeah, both. Gaslight basically could have been a Hitchcock movie.
It could have been. Yeah. It could have absolutely been. I wonder to what degree it was inspired directly from Hitchcock or not. I
agree. The acting in both films are amazing.
Mm-hmm. But I think all three of those are psychological thrillers.
Yes.
And it's fun to kind of take the time to enjoy those films fully.
Joan Crawford's kind of like a guilty pleasure for me, but the actress who plays her daughter is just so evil in that movie. She's Anne Blythe is so cunning in that movie that you can't help but hate her. But I always love Eve Arden is a great character actress, and I always love Old Time Radio, and she was our Miss Brooks, and so I always love seeing movies with her in it. She's never the lead, but she's always like the friend, or she's kind of like the Joan Cusack of her era.
Really, I don't remember our Miss Brooks. I used to listen to old time radio shows a lot as well, but mostly like The Great Gildersleeve.
Yeah.
And what Lights Out.
Oh, Lights Out is great.
Yeah, and then there's The
Shadow was great.
The Shadow, and then I'm trying to, it'll come to me later. I remember there were a bunch of like anthology creepy ones, but Lights Out was one of my favorites.
Suspense was really good.
I don't know if I ever heard that one.
Okay, and then there was Escape, but there's a bunch, and nowadays you can get all these for free too. That you can just download them. So.
I need to hunt them down because honestly, I haven't heard these in years.
I should just do an episode on Old Time Radio. We could do that one because there definitely been movie adaptations based on Old Time Radio shows. So
yeah, I don't know very much about that. I kind of lost track of it probably when I went off to college.
Probably, yeah.
Which is a bummer. Okay, so a couple more things. I noticed. I also tend to watch binge franchises. I'm sick, so. And these not good franchises necessarily, but like Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween. I won't watch those unless I'm deathly ill, and if I will watch one, I watch them all. You know, it's like I don't stop with just one. It's like popping one pill after the next. Jason.
Well, especially with those films. Oh, those films you could be you'd be out for a week when there's so many of them.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just like, I mean, I guess maybe I wonder like what degree of ill I have to feel before or to just like brain purge on like horror franchises. I'm hoping that I have to be pretty sick, but I don't know.
It might keep you ill too.
Yeah, exactly. And not in the way that Carol Burnett did, but in the negative like sense.
Exactly.
But there are some better franchises that I like. The Monty Python films I watch when I'm sick. I think those are fantastic pick-me-ups because they're musical and hilarious and dark. Love dark sense of humor. The Three Cornettos trilogy with Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, and World's End.
Oh, okay.
Those, I think I watched those so often when they came out that now I can really only revisit them when I'm sick because otherwise I'm like, I can't watch it right now. But when I'm sick, yeah, absolutely. It's fun to jump back into those. Again, because I can take the time to go through all three at once, and I don't have to pay really strict attention because I think my brain can fill in most of the blanks if I kind of fall asleep or doze off or whatever. And the last franchise, well, it's not exactly a franchise, but a studio that I like. I like Hammer and Amicus Studios, studios in England that used to be in the 70s associated with horror. But Amicus in particular used to do like these portmanteau anthology horror films, or kind of like Creepshow or Tales from the Dark Side, where there are multiple short stories with a larger story that kind of encapsulated them. And those are fun to watch. Those are a lot of fun to watch because you only need to be awake for like 15 minutes at a time to get one story down. And if you fall asleep during one, it doesn't really matter because then you wake up like a story or two later and you pick up and it's just, they're just as enjoyable. So a few that I wanted to mention from that, House That Dripped Blood, Tales from the Crypt, An Asylum, From Beyond the Grave, and Vault of Horror. Those are, I think, all worth watching. My favorites of those include Peter Cushing. I mean, just because he's my favorite of the Vincent Price, Christopher Lee, and Peter Cushing triumvirate of British horror. So those I think are fantastic. I like to watch those.
Well, that's the thing about Hammer. And we talked about this too. They're very deliberate. They're very long. They take their time, and they kind of lend themselves to you having to be kind of all in because they're not as quick-paced as like the Universal horror movies.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I've recently kind of learned about my appreciation of those that I'm in it for the mood, I think, and the set design sometimes, but really the mood that it captures.
Yeah.
Probably more than anything, because these are not, by today's standards, these are no longer frightening films. And I remember trying to stay up and watch some of these as a kid, staying up late, and I don't think I even thought they were scary then. Like Universal Studios classic horror movies, when I first saw those as a really young child, those did scare me.
Yeah.
Hammer films, I don't remember ever being scared by Hammer movies. Maybe that's not true. I know that the TV show scared the heck out of me. I don't know why the movies didn't, but I do remember being bored to death by one of the Frankenstein films when I was probably like 6.
Because there was no blood. It was always blood in Dracula for obvious reasons. So that at least gave you something to look forward to. But yeah, the Frankenstein just didn't seem to have the same, I don't know, pace and shock value that the originals did.
Yeah, but it's got Peter Cushing in it.
It does.
So, yeah, so I'm a sucker for that at the very least. Plus, as I said, the mood of these are great, and I guess maybe that can be enough to get me through a bad cold.
That's true.
So anyway, yeah. So that's the end of my pretty exhaustive list.
No, that's an awesome list, and again, I give you all the credit because you're the one that came up with this by accident, but it was perfect.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm glad it worked out then.
All right. Well, thank you as always, Malin.
Okay. Thanks, Brian. Talk to you next time.
Special thanks to everyone who guested on our podcast. Great job as always. Now we have some exciting news. Thanks to Metal Mike Tyler, who I met at the Nashville Rockin' Pod Expo. He wanted to buy shirts for Damn Good Movie Memories, and I had to break the news to him that the shirt I was wearing at the expo was the only one in existence. Well, that is not a problem any longer. If you go to teepublic.com, that's TEEPUBLIC.com, you can buy your very own Damn Good Movie Memories shirt with the logo that you know the best. So just go to teepublic.com, type in Damn Good Movie Memories, and you will see our logo there, and you can buy your own t-shirt. You can buy any type of t-shirt. So if you want to buy women's size, you can. If you wanted to buy like different sizes, if you want to buy a long sleeve t-shirt, a sweatshirt, if you want to buy a podcast logo case, if you just want, or podcast logo case, if you want to get a phone case with our very own podcast logo on it, there you go, that was what I was trying to say, you can do that, and it's pretty awesome. This is a great site. The quality's great. I bought one myself, and it fits awesome, and shirts are soft, which I like. And so if you want to promote the podcast that you guys love so much, you can do that there. You can also, if you go to our Facebook page, there's a direct link that will send you directly to that page as well. So that's kind of cool. So I was never thought of actually having swag, but got to thank Metal Mike Tyler for bringing it up. And he already purchased one himself. So that's pretty awesome. All right, until next week, that's it for us. Talk to you later. If you enjoy this podcast and are an iTunes user, please do the show a favor and head on over to the official iTunes page for Damn Good Movie Memories. Be sure to leave a rating and a review. This will allow the show to appear higher in the algorithm and spread the joy of this podcast to the masses. If you are not an iTunes user, you can still listen and subscribe on Podbean at damngoodmoviememories.podbean.com. Be sure to like us on Facebook under our Damn Good Movie Memories page. You can also listen to a limited number of episodes on YouTube. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode, and be sure to tune in next week for an all-new episode of Damn Good Movie Memories.
I am Dr. Fuck.
And I'm the Absolute Alcoholic.
And we are part of the Rock and Metal Combat Podcast.
We are the Rock and Metal Combat Podcast.
That's right. And the way you can check us out is we are on iTunes and also Podbean. And we got a review recently. I got this review right here. It says right here, it says, Rock and Metal Combat Podcast is the greatest podcast in the world, and it's my #1 podcast, signed by Science. Now, and then Science also says... Science also said... My second favorite podcast is It Doesn't Matter, the rest suck. Rock and Metal Combat Podcast on iTunes and Podbean. Check it out.
Science! Are you ready for the hottest new podcast out there? Check out the Vieira Vault, featuring none other than Dr. Fuck Ralph Vieira. You will hear personal stories and personal songs from the vault. There ain't nothing else like it. The one, the only, the original Vieira Vault. On Podbean, Stitcher.com, and iTunes.
Spreaker.
God damn it.